Broadcasting from the Blanchardstown Centre, this is Phoenix FM.
This is 92.5 Phoenix FM, community radio for Dublin 15.
Hey everybody, it's JB Jeremy Borash, and you are listening to Darraagh O'Connor.
Yo, what's going on? It's Leon Slater, and you are listening to Darraagh O'Connor on the Wrestling Rewind. You get me?
This is Impact Wrestling superstar Cowboy James Storm.
This is Jeff Jarrett, the King of the Mountain.
I'm Tom Hannafin from TNA Wrestling. You're listening to the Wrestling Rewind.
And if you're not, sorry about your damn luck.
The Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling.
Hello folks, it is Tuesday here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, and my God, what a week it's been. WrestleMania. WrestleMania used to be like one of these things where you would like be excited to talk about, and you'd be like, I can't believe this happened. It was so cool, blah, 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 blah. It was not that. So we're going to break it down. Night 2 was significantly better. Night 1, holy God. We will get into it. But as I said, we are the Wrestling Rewind, the only wrestling podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling. I swear that's true. But TKO and WWE make it very difficult. But we are going to do our best to ensure that we try to find some positives in the absolute wreck that was WrestleMania 42. But I'm not alone. I am joined by Christopher Fanning. Christopher, how are you doing, sir?
I have a WrestleMania hangover, and it's not the kind I want.
Oh man, yeah. Funny story.
What a weekend, man.
Funny story. When I was at WrestleMania 40, I didn't have ID with me because like Irish people don't really carry ID. It's not really a thing. Like I didn't bring my driver's license or anything like that. The only ID you'd really carry with you is your passport, but you're not going to carry that around. And I was in the stadium. I was in like the Eagle Stadium, and I went to go get a beer, and like the one was like, "No, sorry." I was like, "What?" She goes, "You look under like 25, so I kind of like, I will take that, thank you so much, but also, really?" And she's like, "Yeah, can't." I was like, all right, fair enough. So I ended up having to buy a hot dog and a drink, and it cost me $30.
Yeah. Oh.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, that's insane. Like it was just like a Pepsi. Like a cherry Pepsi or something was like $30. I was like, oh my God, that is insane. However, the guy that was sitting beside just decided to be like, "Do you want a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, he just opens up his bag and he goes, "Here you go." I was like, all right, fair enough. So, yeah, one thing that it seems like has carried over into this year's WrestleMania were the prices. So let's start there, dude. I saw somebody paid $500 for a bit of a steak at WrestleMania 42.
Oh God, no. Ugh.
So the price, like, here's the thing, word of warning, folks, if you're going to these shows, eat beforehand, because you like, the prices are insane. Absolutely insane. But look, before we get into WrestleMania and all that kind of stuff, there were some breaking news before we went on. And it's news that sucks. I hate that WWE do this. Like, obviously it's like a tradition, but it's a bad one. They didn't do it for a little while, but now it seems to be back. It's like, right, we get some call-ups, but we also get some releases. And I only heard about one of these before we went on, and then you told me about the rest of it. So the one that I heard first was Nikki Cross. I'm going to read this out. WWE releases stars Wyatt, Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, and more. Key WWE releases: Nikki Cross, Alba Fire, Zoe Stark, Joe Gacy, and Bo Dallas, also known as Uncle Howdy. Now, here's the thing. Usually these things don't come in little spurts. Usually there's one big block of releases, then another one, then another one. So hopefully this is the only one. But yeah, it's I don't know. I hate when this happens. And there's no reason for WWE to even do this. They're making money hand over fist.
Yeah, true.
And fair enough. The Wyatt Six booking has been a bit weird, but I think there was a lot of juice in that, and they've let go. Like, it seems to be the curse with the Wyatt brothers. You know, it's like anything involved with them, they just keep getting released. They're like, oh, we should bring them back. You know where you go, Bo Dallas and Nikki Cross? You go to TNA.
Yeah, man.
That's where you go. You go to TNA. And look, again, I posted it on the channel, this week. It was in the show last week. they actually know how to do the spooky things, but also with the work rate. They have, like, go to TNA. Don't go to AEW. There's no point. You'll just be left there. If you go to TNA, Bo Dallas could be world champion in like inside of a year. Anyway, Christopher, what do you want to talk on this? Go on.
Yeah, I mean, they broke up the Wyatt Six. Now they're the Wyatt Three. Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, and Joe Gacy are gone. Zoe Stark, I think that's kind of messed up because she's injured right now. Mm-hmm. She got injured on Raw not too long ago. Alba Fire isn't really doing much now that Chelsea Green is injured, and what's her name? Piper Niven is injured too. She may or may not ever come back. And there was another name that you had missed, and it's Andre Chase, who I believe is on NXT, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not in this release.
Yeah. He got released as well. So
damn.
And here's my thing about these releases. You're calling up, they've so far we've seen 4 call-ups. You had Ethan Page. We know Joe Henry will be on SmackDown tonight or on Friday. We had Sol Sikoa and the girl that she ran with, and I cannot remember her name, Zaria, or I forget her name. If you're going to call these people up, why not, instead of releasing these people, send them back down to developmental and help them redevelop themselves?
Dexter Loomis,
to me, it makes sense.
Dexter Loomis has just been released.
Oh, wow. That wasn't even on the list.
No, it's just like 12 minutes ago. This, guys,
so
because as I said, this story this story is actively developing, and this is what I was worried about. Again, this isn't a bit, like, we're literally watching this as it happens. Like it seems like it is going to be drips and drops throughout the rest of the day. There's actually a mega thread now on Reddit, believe it or not. So here actually there's more. Oh my god, it keeps growing. Right, so here we go. Right now, Nikki Cross, Zoe Stark, Alba Fire, Joe Gacy, Bo Dallas, Andre Chase, Eric Rowan, Dexter Loomis, Dante Chen. Wow.
That's all the Wyatts. They're gone. Every one of them.
Yeah, and again, this is actively developing. We might get more. Wow, this sucks.
Oh, that's disappointing. But again, that's on the booking. That's on TKO, who we've learned they got their hand in creative. I don't agree with that. I mean, they should have booked them better, or they should have put them on Raw. Let's see what they can do on Raw. But I don't know. But they make it very hard to be a fan right now.
You know what, though? As I said, and I go back to my statement, everyone who's in the Wyatt Six there who was released, go to TNA. That's where their future is. That's where their future is. And the reason why is it's like TNA need stars. And they're also, perfect fit for it. Particularly now with Father James Mitchell being there now, it's kind of a natural fit. So that's where they should go. If somehow this gets out to them, go to TNA. Mm-hmm. TNA scouts should be looking directly at this because, this is just sad though. I know, and Dexter Loomis was in TNA for a while and he did a really, really good job there. So it's not kind of outside the realm of possibility, but that sucks, dude. And unfortunately, I think as we continue on this show today, we probably will see more.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Look, TKO make it very hard to be a WWE fan. They really do.
They really do.
They really do.
I'm starting to understand why Road Dogg left. I think that's the reason why.
Well, look, as you said,
right there.
Another bit of news there that you alluded to, and it's something that we've thought for some time. It's been quasi-confirmed. I mean, if you look at the WrestleMania situation in general the past 3 years, we've known that TKO have really kind of just screwed it up. They've just decided, like, nope, I'm changing this and this and this, right? And it really seems that that's kind of what happened. I watched a good video before we started recording, and it was talking about, I can't find it, I'll put it in the description below, but it was talking about how WrestleMania will never be the same. And it was following Dragunov, Io Sky, and 2 wrestlers from NXT who the chain, Carla Hayes and another girl I can't remember, who they trained for years. It was like a 20-minute video going through their different careers and blah blah blah. And then it was comparing how those guys are still training. They're still there. But then you have Jelly Roll and EO's Speed and, you know, random people who are pretending to be wrestlers who shouldn't be there. You know, and it's just like, what's the point in this? You know, ISO Speed is going back to his stream. He's not going to be wrestling tonight. But you have people like EO Sky who didn't get a WrestleMania moment. And it really is. It really is sad, and it seems to be that this is what WWE are more focused on. You know, but yeah, I'll leave that in the description below. But yeah, so you were saying to me that you got confirmation of this. So what happened?
There was some sort of conference or something at the University of Alabama, I believe is where it was. And somebody had asked, and I forget the guy's name, but he's like high up on the TKO ladder.
Right. Had
asked him who's doing creative. Is it WWE or is it TKO? And without hesitation, it's TKO. We're doing the creative.
Right.
Which makes sense because it's been WrestleMania 40 was the pillar. It was incredible. This is right before the TKO takeover. Vince was out. Triple H was, COO. He was chief content creator. He was everything. And it was a great show. And then TKO took over, and it's been a steady decline down. And if they're wondering why they're not getting the revenue they should take a look in the mirror. This TKO is ruining wrestling. And I will die on that hill.
I don't think they're ruining wrestling. I think they're strangling it dry.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, here's my point, because TKO also owns UFC.
Right.
Are you going to put ISO Speed in a UFC match against Ewan McGregor? Or not Ewan McGregor, Conor McGregor. Sorry. Wow. I'm going to get so much flack for that one.
Hey.
But you know who I'm talking about. Yeah.
I let it go. I let it slide. Don't worry. I knew you were talking about.
Yeah, Conor. But against Conor, would you do that? That would be a bloodbath. Why would you do that?
It's because they don't see wrestling as real. It is. It doesn't. But it doesn't have the same respect. You know, and here's the thing, dude. It's not just WWE. Again, look, it's bad when I really criticize TNA, but they've done this too. I remember being at a house show many years ago when TNA was in its real dark period. They weren't even called TNA; they're called Impact Wrestling, and they had a pop star wrestling in a house show.
What?
Yeah, they had like a random pop star wrestling in a house show, and they set it up on like a local TV show in Dublin. And nobody, for kids to watch, right? Who weren't at the show. And then when it happened, it was like a signature match within the first half, but still it was, signature enough. And people hated it. So it seems to just be like, and that's, again, this was not WrestleMania. This was not even WWE. This was its own thing. It seems like that's just what they do. AEW do it as well. They had that, the Costco kid on, and it's just like, look, it just seems to be a thing of wrestling where they're like, well, it's not real in the sense of, obviously bumps hurt, it's physical, but it's not, we control it in some level, right? And I think because of that, they're like, oh, sure, anyone can do that. It's like, but you can't, and I think that's the problem. But WWE have always flirted with this. I just think there was always that kind of restraint. And it's funny to use the word restraint with Vince McMahon, but there was always disrestraint with WWE using celebrities. If they were going to bring someone in, like your one from the Jersey Shore, what's her name? Snooki? Yeah.
Snooki.
Yeah. Like they brought her in, but she wasn't in there by herself. She was in there protected. She wasn't given a lot to do, just a couple of spots here and there. The same with Ronda Rousey when she was initially brought in a tag team match. The gloves are off now. They're not just like, well, we want to have a good match, tell a good story, but if you want to be in there, you can be in there. They're like, no, actually, ISO Speed is more important than everyone here. Give him the spot so he'll talk about it on the stream. And it doesn't matter who wins the match. It doesn't matter about the match. Who cares? Who cares?
The same with Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
I hate to bring him up too, but it's the same. He's in the same boat.
Yeah, and that is the problem. Like it's a systemic problem now throughout wrestling, and it always has been there. To defy anyone to say, "Oh no, it wasn't like that." It always was. I mean, if you want to go back to Jerry the King Lawler and Andy Kaufman, like it goes back, and even further again. But the difference was that was always to tell some kind of story, and the story came first. It wasn't, oh, the celebrity's more important and screw everybody else. But that's what's happening now, and the reason why is because look, it drives engagement, it gives them the moment, and obviously they get some return on it. But here's the thing, and this is something that, like, as somebody who is an American who's over this side of the world, I think I have a unique perspective on this specific thing. And actually, there's a great YouTuber, I mentioned him on my other show as well, Super Eye Patch Wolf. Super Eye Patch Wolf is probably one of the biggest Irish YouTubers. He's phenomenal. If you like video games, if you like anime, if you like wrestling, go watch him. His other channel is really good, where he's just himself. Phenomenal talent, right? But he has a similar take on this. He says, who is Lil Yachty? He was like, is he a race car driver, right? As a joke. I actually don't know who Lil Yachty is, right?
I don't either.
I'll be honest with you, I have no idea who he is. I didn't know who Travis Scott was. Someone else said I thought he was the drummer of Blink-182, which was a good line, but like legitimately, I actually didn't know who he was. I only know who I Show Speed is because he's kind of a meme online, right? I don't actually know
what he is.
Yeah, I think he's a streamer, but he's a meme, right? So unless you're like an American, a specific kind of American who is either, into memes or into really plugged into certain elements of pop culture, these people don't really mean anything. And from even my understanding of it, and look, guys, please correct me if I'm wrong, like the people that they bring in as celebrities aren't even like celebrities. They're like C-level, B-levels, like C or D levels. Like it's not like you're bringing in Sylvester Stallone or, Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever. It's like they used to back in the day where you're like, oh, look, this big mad movie star. It's like, it's this guy and he has a stream or something. It's like, what? Or, they'd be like, oh, we have the defensive lineup of the Green Bay Packers or the Dallas Cowboys or something, It's like, okay, fair enough. You can understand that. It's like, we have this guy and he like does a podcast, It's like, okay, I mean, come on. Like,
that'd be like me being on an episode of Raw. Like, oh, he's got a podcast. Oh.
It's like,
I'd be like, put me on commentary. I don't want to be in the ring. I don't want to take a bump.
Well, here's the crazy thing, Christopher. Did you see in WrestleMania that there was some random guy doing commentary, but not really? Did you see that?
I don't even know who he was.
So apparently, which match was this during? I can't remember which match specifically, but I have it in my notes.
I don't remember either.
Okay, it doesn't matter. But there was a point during WrestleMania where they cut to this random fella, and he had a headset on, but it wasn't plugged in, so I don't really know what he had a headset on. And apparently he was like this is for real. Apparently he's like a crypto millionaire, and he paid some amount of money, probably a lot of money, to sit there for that one match. And pretend to do commentary.
See, here's the thing. We hate on him, but if we had that kind of money, we would do the same exact thing. We would.
If you could do commentary, fair enough. But to just sit there, it's like, you know what it looks like? It's like, the old meme of like the older brother playing a video game and then like you give your kid sibling like a controller that isn't plugged in. That's what that felt like. But the guy probably paid, $100,000 or something to do it. And it's just like, what are you doing? There's other things in Vegas you can do rather than that, right? It's just like, come on. This is silly.
You could have done the Cody Bucks tour.
Someone paid me.
We talked about that 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
Someone paid me $100,000. I would do that. I'd have to clockwork orange myself to like get through that, where they strap you in and have your eyes open. You're like, it's a sin. No, just you know what this sounds like, right? When we're going through this, it sounds like a parody of like someone's gone crazy and doing mad stuff. What's going to happen next week? You know when they used to be like, it was part of a storyline going, Mr. McMahon has gone crazy, and it's like, he would do this. It's like that, but like, it's actually really happening. It's like, it's a real thing that they're doing, and you're like, it's weird. Weird. I when I saw that, I was just kind of disgusted by the whole thing, you know? But,
and it's funny that Logan Paul called out, said something, I think it was Twitter or something online. He said, you know what? We need to quit having all these YouTubers in wrestling. They're bringing down the sport. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, Logan, time out. Aren't you a YouTuber too? Because that's how you got your start. And you're hating on everybody. Oh, no, don't be that guy.
Yeah, but he's pulling up that ladder behind them. it's like,
yeah, he really is. Nope. I'm the only one that can be here.
but I will have to say, I mean, Logan Paul he is kind of the exception. Like, look, don't get me wrong. Bad Bunny put on a good match. Now, I didn't know who Bad Bunny was either, right? Like, I don't listen to that kind of music, and I'm not American. All right, so I don't know. I mean, he's not really big over in Europe. So don't really know who he is. Everyone over here knows him because he was in WWE. So it's this weird feedback loop where they're like, hey, we have this huge star. And it was like, and, you know, American audience would know who he is. But then over in Europe, they're like, we have no idea who you are. Our first exposure to you is on WWE. So it's weird. It's like, I still, one of the problems that WWE actually had, right? And they actually kind of got rid of it for a long time, was they actually had like a realization for like 2 or 3 years where they're like, oh, we're a global company. Maybe we should be a global company. And that lasted for a little while. But now since TKO have taken over, they're like, who cares? Let's just screw these marks for everything they're worth. You know?
And it's funny you say that, because that's the truth. Because if we want to watch Raw, we got to get Netflix. If we want to watch SmackDown, we got to have cable, or, you know, the USA Network, which is on cable. Mm-hmm. If you want to watch NXT, it's also on cable. If you want to watch the PLE, you got to get the ESPN Unlimited ad. I'm like, I'm good. Netflix, VPN, I'm solid. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but like the fact that that's the way you watch, like when the WWE Network first came out, we had to do that because it was there, right? But you can still watch WWE, whatever. And that was like, okay, I mean, look, it's an American thing, fair enough, we'll use it. But the fact now that you legally have to like find a way around it, it's like piracy with extra steps. You know, that's kind of what it's like to be a WWE fan, I'm assuming, outside of Europe, because again, we just have Netflix. But even when you're watching it on Netflix, like, there's just these random ads that aren't ads. It's just this random back and forward of people moving around to terrible music. It's just like, do something, some kind of this is WWE. Like, I never thought I would yearn for the day of Kevin Dunn's production, you know? like, I don't want them back, because it was terrible. But I mean, at least there was something where it was like, right, okay, we're going to commercial, play something. Someone's like, at WrestleMania, throughout the whole 2 days, we got no backstage segments. We got no interviews, you know, that wasn't pushing the product before people jump in. It was just, here's some slop. Here's a terrible match. Here's more slop. Here's a worse match. Here's the worst thing you've ever seen. And then night 2 happened. It's like, well, here's less bad slop. And then it kind of build up to 2 or 3 good matches. And that's what it was. That was WrestleMania 42.
Yeah, it was.
Terrible. Like, and I wouldn't mind. There is some
Night one brought it down. Night one brought it down a lot.
Man, okay.
There was maybe 1 or 2 matches on that card that were worth watching.
So look, let's get into it, right? Because we're 40 minutes in. You know a show is bad when you actually don't want to talk about it. That's when you know it's bad, when you're like, oh, you know. So night 1, I'm gonna put my cards on the table here. I didn't watch night 1 live. Right? I was watching.
You.
I didn't watch it. I was texting you because you had your barbecue, and the brisket looked amazing. But I didn't watch it live. I watched the last the last couple of minutes of the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton thing, just in the hopes that they'd pull it out and Cody Rhodes wouldn't win, and Orton would make some kind of, would make it in some way interesting, right? But the actual show itself, I just didn't watch live. I was kind of flicking through it or whatever, and all I could just see were people going, "This is actively the worst thing ever." And I was like, "Oh, it can't be that, but there's no way it can be that bad. I mean, there's some good matches here for sure, right?" And I was like, "No," because it started early enough. Started like 12 o'clock, which is pretty early. And it was over like 2:30, which is insane. Also a really bad sign. And so by the time it was over, I was just like, there's no way it was that bad. Watched it the next day. Holy God. Everything about it was terrible. Like,
oh yeah.
From end to end, there was nothing there that I would want to go back to. Like, Paige came back. I have to say our predictions were completely wrong. But that being said, I thought that was interesting. But it didn't make sense, right? And now what's come out is that TKO has been messing around with WWE booking. And they've been changing match results and stuff happened that wasn't supposed to happen. It's like, oh, that makes sense. So apparently the Cody Rhodes win wasn't actually supposed to happen. Cody was supposed to lose. Randy Orton is hurt, but also they wanted to go a different direction. Pat McAfee was like, I'm actually not coming back. So that's probably why that happened. But there were a lot of other random stuff in this card that felt like it was very thrown together. This felt like a bad Raw during the day.
Yeah, it really did.
Floor is yours. Where do you want to start on?
Oh, this wasn't seen on TV, but after they leaked that Paige was re-signed to the company the Friday before, which, and then Nikki Bella comes out with a little cast on going, "I'm sorry, y'all. I tried really hard, but I just not cleared, but we called an old friend." And then Paige comes out and I'm like, yeah, we kind of saw that coming. But what I didn't see coming was Brie and Paige winning the tag team belts, which there's a video of Bayley walking to the back and she's visibly upset.
I don't blame her. I will be too.
Why does somebody who's been gone for as long as she is comes in and gets, granted it's a mid-card title, but it's something that Bayley and Lyra Valkyria have been working for almost maybe 6 months now, not even close to a year.
Mm-hmm.
And the only good thing I take from this is that it wasn't Nikki and Brie, it was Brie and somebody else, because I just cannot stand Nikki Bella. She just annoys me. So the fact that it's Brie and Paige, I'm like, it hurts, but not as much.
I think
I could have done without. Oh, go ahead.
I think it's systematic of a wider problem. It's just,
I agree.
It's just garbage. It's like, yeah, look, fair enough. I mean, I was happy Paige got her moment, because if there's a girl that deserves her moment, it's Paige, right? But this is just garbage. Just garbage.
If I was booking that night, I would have taken the Bellas completely out and put the Kabuki Warriors in instead. You don't have both; they're not going to compete. You keep the Paige reveal later in the middle of the Becky AJ Lee match. Paige's music hits. She's out there. AJ, oh my God, distracted. Becky gets the win. That's the way I would have booked that, and it would have worked.
Well, this was supposed. They
don't call me.
Yeah, this was supposed to happen. This was supposed to happen. We were supposed to actually get like the Kabuki Warriors. That was supposed to be in the plan, and it just wasn't. Also, apparently on the card as well, if it wasn't the Kabuki Warriors, like they did this weird thing where, yes, the Kabuki Warriors were not wrestling together, but they were actually supposed to wrestle against each other. But because they wanted to have the option to bring in the Kabuki Warriors, they didn't break them up.
Yep.
So it was damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. And guess what happened?
Yep.
We're all damned, because it was absolute muck. Terrible muck.
You're wrong. We're not damned. We are cursed.
Fantastic. Okay, one bright side about WrestleMania, right? Danhausen is phenomenal. He is.
Oh yeah,
he is
100%.
absolutely the best thing in WWE right now, bar nothing. Like, he doesn't have to wrestle. He just has to do exactly what he's doing, and it's absolutely wonderful. Danhausen, you know what? Danhausen saved WrestleMania, because it's the only thing I thoroughly enjoyed was all of his spooky, weird antics. So, and look, I actually read a report today. Apparently, fan-offs are so shocked by how successful his merch has been selling. He might actually, I think he is one of the like, if not the, very close to the top merch seller in WWE right now.
I believe it. It makes sense.
So it's like, but again, if you look at what Danhausen is, like, he has a genuine connection with the fans. Now, some people said, oh, he's the modern Joe Henry. I'm like, yeah, Joe Henry also had a connection with the fans. Fancy that.
He did.
Guess what works?
If
they're good characters and get over, it really doesn't matter what else happens, you know? So, yeah, Danhausen was great. I enjoyed everything he did. Yeah, it's brilliant.
The only issue I have with Danhausen is not even about Danhausen. It's about the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community. Way back when there was the box and he came out, people, and these same people are like, "Ooh, what? Who is this guy? Oh, this is going to be stupid."
Oh my God!
A month later, they're all, "Oh my God, I'm the biggest fan."
Hold on, we have breaking news now. It just got worse.
Oh no!
So as we said, it's just got worse, right? So the list is now Nikki Cross, Zoe Starks, Alba Fire, Joe Gacy, Bo Dallas, Andre Chase, Eric Rowan, Dexter Loomis, Dante Chen, Kairi Sane, Aleister Black, and Selena. This one really hurts. The Motor City Machine Guns and Apollo Crews.
Oh, Apollo Crews one I can do with because he really wasn't doing much, but wow. I mean, Aleister Black and Selena Vega weren't really doing anything.
They were supposed to be. They were supposed to be.
They weren't.
Wow.
That one doesn't hurt me. Okay, fine. Whatever. Yeah. Wow. I'm sure it'll be like at least 4 or 5 more before the day is over. And it's barely 7 p.m. where I'm at right now. So we have until the end of SmackDown before that list gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Look, as I said, we're going to keep going through this as the show goes on. But again, Motor City Machine Guns, go back to TNA. Or I mean, look, go to AEW. See what happens. You know, why not? Like, I mean, at this point, we might as well take that money and round it out. Because, you know, you probably get a pretty decent run in AEW. But, oh man, that sucks. That one really hurts. That one really hurts.
I will say this. Somebody like myself who has been hardcore WWF/WWE, even back during the Monday Night Wars, never strayed, never went to watch WCW unless I absolutely had to. Now, I'm considering watching AEW, which I did watch this past week. And of course, with the burying of MJF, people are all upset about it. But it's like, you know, that's still that match alone is better than night one of WrestleMania 42.
As I said, look, this is why it's as silly as AEW can be sometimes. Look, and WWE, we're going to lay into it for real, right? But at the same time, this is why you need an alternative. You need to have somewhere else for the lads to work, you know, because then it builds new talent, but also when stuff like this happens, you can go watch something else. You know, like that's why I started watching TNA in the first place, because I just couldn't watch WWE anymore. And I think a lot of people are probably in the same boat, but again, there's Santano's Escobar just got released as well.
Wow.
Oh man, this is a brutal cut. This is a brutal cut for WWE. There's no. I'm kind of lost for words here. I really am. This is a real bummer. It's a real bummer.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on it, folks, as the show goes through. We have about 25 minutes left. We'll see what happens with the rest with the, you know, with these releases. It really is crazy. Okay. So look, let's talk about the main event. Cody Rhodes defeated Randy Orton in genuinely one of the worst wrestling matches I've ever seen in my life. It's the second terrible main event of WrestleMania in 2 years, and
back-to-back years. Yeah, if you compare it to Cena and Cody last year.
Like, and look, I know the meme is that I hate Cody Rhodes, and I do, but you have to start asking questions here. Like, he's in both of them, and they're both terrible. You know, it's just, I don't fire him, release him. You know, it's like, what are you doing? He's actively bad. But anyway, I want to control on. 23 minutes, and everything about this was bad. Mercifully, they got the Pat McAfee jelly roll thing out of the way. But even still, come on, it was so stupid. And then, so they did kind of win me back a little bit during the match, because I liked the way they were working the whole Randy Orton is injured, Cody's kind of going to the dark side. It's a double turn, which they did do a double turn, and then they both turned back, and then they turned again and turned back. It was like watching the Big Show, and it was like watching the Big Show's career and fast forward. I think they turned about 3 or 4 times. And you know, I was kind of happy enough to go along with it, and I was like, okay, fair enough, you know. And then Pat McAfee runs out in a referee shirt, still wearing the sunglasses, with a neck brace. The neck brace in wrestling is the stupidest thing you can wear, because it's like, it just looks stupid. Like, it's supposed to be a serious injury, but if you're wearing a neck brace, it looks ridiculous, you know. And particularly running down with a referee shirt, which means did he put the referee shirt on, put the neck brace on, and then put the sunglasses back on? It's like, this is just atrocious. And and after that, man, I was just like, anything could happen here, you know. And it had lost me completely, and it never recovered. And then when Cody did win, I was just sitting there disgusted, because I was like, this is absolute muck. Absolute muck. And yeah, it was. And everyone agreed. Like, there was no big moment. There was no good, like, if that had, you know what? No. Mercifully, there's 2 nights of WrestleMania, because I think after that there would have been like refunds. But I said this on the show: if they had given me tickets to go to night one and flew me over and put me up in a hotel, I wouldn't have went. You couldn't pray with me to go into night one of WrestleMania, because it was that bad. It was that bad. Absolute garbage.
There are 2 points. There are 2 points I want to make real quick. When Pat McAfee got RKO'd by Randy Orton, that's when I knew, oh yeah, Cody's winning.
Mm-hmm.
I almost like, you just RKO'd the dude that was in your corner. You're losing. It's just, that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Number 2, night one proves to me that WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and whatever other shows they want to have 2 nights with, they don't need to be 2 nights. You could do a 5-hour show, and you could have taken out the the 6-way tag. You could have taken that out. You could have taken out the women's fatal 4-way tag. That could have happened on Raw the next night, which is what it should have been. You could have taken out 2, 3, maybe even 4 of these matches on night one, had one night, and been done with it. And the funny part about it is that the attendance was lower than last year by about 15,000 people, give or take. Because we talked about it on my show.
The thing about the thing about it is with WWE doing what they're doing, like, how could you want to go to that show? You know, like, there was nothing there that was pulling anybody. Like, as I said, the only thing that I'll be honest with you, the only thing that I was kind of bummed about not going over, because I did want to see, their night 2 was pretty good, but the Kings are in the playoffs at the moment, and I was like, or it's not the Kings and the Knights are in the playoffs at the moment, and I was like, oh man, I could have went to see a playoff game instead. Didn't even care about WrestleMania. You know, I was like, oh, if I had been over there, I could have saw night 2, but I would have went to go see the Knights play. Yeah. And that shouldn't be happening. It's WrestleMania. But night 1 was so underwhelming that I was just sitting at home going, well, I would have been cool to go see some hockey instead, rather than, oh man, night 1 was, you know, badass. There were some cool moments. I was like, no, it was absolute wreck. And night 2, I cautiously watched bits of it, but it wasn't until, like, I only watched the last match because it happened to be on. This is the first WrestleMania since I took my break, 15 years ago from WWE that I didn't watch live. You know what was on Sunday? It was much better. Playoff UK hockey. That was actually really quite fun. We watched that live. But, WrestleMania Sunday for me was like, oh, well, the UK finals are on, so let's watch that. And it's just, I think putting the blame on Triple H is unfair, but putting the blame on TKO,
it really is.
He has no control over it. Yeah, he's no control. Dude, it's like work. It's any corporate job, where you're like, if your boss is like, hey, I need, or the executive, the team are like, look, you need to do this. What are you going to say? No, you're going to do it, right? And that's the position he's in here. He's not working for Vince McMahon anymore. He's working for some E-team in TKO. Yeah, who were like, listen, you need to do this. And he's like, okay, I guess we'll do it. And I mean, night 2 was substantially better. I went back and watched it. Loved the ladder match. Ladder match was unreal, right? Penta's Mortal Kombat outfit was one of the coolest things I've seen. That was incredible, right? Penta is brilliant. Javon Evans should have won. I will say that. I think they missed an opportunity, but Penta was great. We'll talk about Oba Femi in a second. But the Demon street fight with Dominic. Now, here's the thing. I wish you had said that. It was like it was going to be a street fight. When I was watching it, I was like, where did he hit? Because I saw the ending. I was like, wait, how did Finn Balor win by putting him through a table? I thought it was a normal match. And then when I was watching it, I was like, oh, they made it a street fight. It's like, okay, they should have done that beforehand. Here's what they should have done, right? They should have had the reveal of the Demon be like a surprise, but it said it was a street fight. And what Finn Balor could have done is say, look, Dom, I can't beat you in a street. Literally do the Cactus Jack promo from 2000, where it's like, look, I can't beat you in a street fight. You know that you're too sneaky. You're this is your kind of match, but I know someone who can. And then walk out as the Demon. That would have been amazing.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing.
We have the old Finn Balor back because he trimmed the beard down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, when he came out as a Demon, I almost fell out of the couch. It's like, wow.
Yeah,
I've been wanting this for such a long time. And of course, everybody else was, oh, Finn Balor's overrated. I'm like, y'all are dumb.
No, he's not.
Finn Balor is underrated at this point.
Absolutely.
He kind of got shelved after he got hurt with that match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam.
Yes, sir, he did
10 years ago.
Yes, he did, and never really recovered from it. So look, here's the thing: WWE. We'll talk about it in a second, but they have kind of written themselves in a corner here. But Finn Balor is a guy who could, assuming he doesn't get released, touch wood. I mean, who knows at this point, right? But at the same time, he's someone you could build your world championship around, for real. But WWE, man, they do some weird stuff. And look, the main event was great. Obviously, I'm disappointed that Punk lost, but what a hell of a performance. I love the storytelling in it. Punk collapsing.
Yeah.
When he won, he would have won, but he just collapsed and he wasn't able to. That was really cool. I mean, giving Punk that little wrinkle is really cool. Now, here's the thing. Here's what it sets up. He won't capture the world title if he goes against, and he's like, look, I'm too old. It's time for me to call it. So it is kind of the first wrinkle for his retirement, I would say. That's what it looked like. But still, really, really good match. Punk and Reigns, absolutely. It's probably Roman Reigns' best match. Legitimately. I know that's not a big list, but still, it was a good match. It was much better than his match with Cody at 40, because that was a cool moment to experience live. I'm not going to underplay how cool that was to see live. As far as a match, this was a lot better. There was no stupid run-ins. There was no nonsense. They just killed each other. Now, Punk blading in the most obvious way possible was a bit silly. And the fact that the referee just didn't disqualify Roman Reigns for hitting him with steel steps, it's like, come on. Either,
that was my argument too.
Yeah, it's like either there's rules or there's not. It's like, if you're going to do that, make it an ODQ match. In fact, I don't know how you feel on this. I believe all world title matches should just be an ODQ.
Yeah.
It's like, I just
agree.
And some people are like, oh, but it's not a pure match. It's like, well, if they're going to do silly stuff with each other with the steel steps, which, I mean, is a lot worse than hitting someone with a steel chair. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather get hit in the back with a chair that's folded than hit in the face with steel steps. You know what I mean? It's like, what is this actually worse than the other?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, I don't see why, if they're going to do that, just make it, you know, like, I know the title can't change hands on the qualification, but at the same time, it's like, the match should have ended there. That should have been it. And then the commentary, they're like, oh, he's letting a lot go tonight. It's like, yeah, he's letting his qualifications go. Like, not even a warning.
Or they could have done what they did when it was Rock versus Punk at the Rumble when he got DQ'd and they restarted the match. Like, say, Punk they could have just restarted the match. They've done it before. It's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
And then go, okay, by the way, we're going to restart the match. There's no disqualification.
Yeah.
Boom,
like,
there you go.
As I said,
you have your story.
As I said, that match should have ended there. Like, I'm not a fan of that, where they're like, oh, the rules exist sometimes. It's like, no, either the rules exist or they don't. Like, in any other sport, again, it goes back to the sport thing. Like, in any other sport, if you break the rules, you get a call, you get a timeout or whatever, or you lose the match. Like that.
Yeah.
Hitting a man with steel chairs, steel chairs with steel steps is like, what's the difference between the steel chairs and steel steps? In front of the ref. It wasn't like the ref was down. It's like the ref was looking right at him. He had his little gloves on and everything after it. You know, it's like, you clearly saw him. You clearly saw him bleed. Yeah. Now you have your gloves on because of it. What are you doing? Like, okay. Silly. Just, I hate that so much, because I was like, it just pulls you out. For me, that's when wrestling looks more fake. You know, when they don't follow the rules of the sport.
So by that notion, Becky should have been DQ'd too, because somebody was like, oh, Becky put her hands on the ref. I'm like, Becky was yelling at the ref. Jessica Carr pushed her first. Mm-hmm. So if the ref puts their hands on the talent, all rules, you know, all bets are off, you know, and they're like, oh, you're just a Becky fanboy. I'm like, you're right. I am. And I'm okay with what she's the heel.
But then again,
what are we not understanding about that?
But then again, I like, with that, it's a little bit more complicated. It's more story focused. I do exactly. I do think with world title matches, though, it is time to go, well, look, it's no DQ, because they always do this stuff anyway. It's like, well, they're probably, and it kind of goes back to, you know, if you think of any of the big matches that have been successful at WrestleMania, there is some element of outside nonsense, or, you know, no DQ, no count out. Like, I don't know why they just don't have that standard. It's ironically, the one time that they should have done that and they didn't was Randy Orton and Triple H from 25, which was so incredibly dull, particularly when they spent the whole build up trying to kill each other, and then when they get there, they start doing like rest holds. Like, at least with Punk and Reigns, you could really feel that Reigns really hates Punk, and Punk isn't a big fan of Reigns either. You know, like a lot of not calling spots, but like absolute trash talk from Reigns to Punk. Like, absolutely just saying, you know, I did enjoy the line where he's like, "What did you think was going to happen? You know, this isn't promo time," and I was just like, "Oh man, this is brutal. This is like a beating," you know, and it made Reigns look dangerous again. You know, I think losing, and it's the first time that he's actually looked really dangerous. So Punk put him over, looked like $1 million. I don't think we're far away from Punk turning heel. I think we're almost at that point now, because he's lost the title, kind of wants it from Cody. That's what they could be building towards.
I don't know. I think they're going to build the Cody heel turn before they do CM Punk. I don't know why. Punk was very humble, very, you know what, I got no excuses. He was just he was being very babyface, like
he was
babyface 101. Mm-hmm. And Cody came out with that disgusting looking eye. Oh, it looked gross.
I have to say though, when it happened, there were loads of people cheering, and look, I'm not proud of it, but I kind of am. I was just like, do the other eye.
Oh.
So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that in WrestleMania. I'm not going to lie. That was fun. But, you know, that's just my irrational hatred of Cody Rhodes.
It is funny though too when people found out that he had broken that part of his face. Oh, man. The first thing, so he has to relinquish the title. I'm like, dude, no,
it's an orbital.
You're not going to make him. Yeah, like, dude, he's worn the face mask before. When he was,
that's a good point. He has the exact same thing. Yeah,
that could be the heel turn right there. I got to go back to this. I hate this gimmick. Whatever.
I wouldn't mind though. Like if that happened, I would be on the Cody Rhodes bus. Dashing Cody Rhodes and damage Cody Rhodes is unreal. So
I'm sorry, but WWE, if you're listening, I know you're probably not, but if you are listening, we need to be hired as creative because we have ideas and they're good ideas too.
Oh my God. Hold on. The list got longer. Oh man. Every time I refresh this just gets worse. Well, it doesn't. Okay. The names aren't bigger names. They are like, I think they're just development people who are being released now, but still it's not good to see people lose their jobs. So we have an update from this. Lucia Cristino, Malik Blade, Trill London, Zarina Linton, Ty May Steele, Chris Island, Tariq Iwa, and Tyson Dupont. Yeah, these seem to be all developmental NXT people who are released. Still, I mean, that's a big list, man. That's a big list.
Did you say Kairi Sane in there too?
Say again? Kairi Sane, yeah. Kairi Sane, yeah.
What?
She's gone too, yeah.
Oh, man. I really wanted to see her turn on Asuka. Yeah. I really wanted to see it.
Well, here's the thing. This list is growing, so if you're following along at home as of 1:20 a.m. on the 25th of April, Square Circle on Reddit, this is the thread we're using, and they're all coming from FIFO Select, so you can follow along at home and see if this list has grown. But my God, man, this is a bummer in general. You know, you don't want to see people lose their jobs, but definitely that list is definitely one to think coming on the back of a very, very poor WrestleMania. And look, we have to finish on this because we didn't really talk about it at all. But Oba Femi dethroning the beast, Brock Lesnar, in 5 minutes, a squash match by all intents and purposes. Now, weird night, weird moment, huge moment, star-making performance for Oba, right? Now, here's where it gets interesting. Apparently that wasn't supposed to happen. Apparently that was not supposed to happen. Brock Lesnar was supposed to retire at SummerSlam. And he didn't want to do the job to Gunther.
Really?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Wow, I read something about that, but it didn't come from a very reliable source. I didn't believe it.
Again, it's what's doing the rounds. If it turns out to be wrong, leave them in the comments below. But you try to make it make sense.
Yeah.
You try to make it make sense. Now, last I did hear, there was talk of trying to get Brock to Minneapolis to retire there, but at the same time, it's Brock Lesnar. He kind of does what he wants. Like, you know, he seemed like he's just like, I guess I'll lose this match, you know? But look, as I said, definitely, look, Gunther doesn't need to retire Brock Lesnar. Oba Femi kind of did. Maybe it was Brock just going, no, this makes more sense. And if that's the case, I respect that. Makes more sense.
It does make more sense because now the ruler, slayed the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people can say they've taken Brock Lesnar out.
No.
Oba Femi can legit say, I retired Brock Lesnar, and nobody can take that away from him.
Yeah.
Just like Brock can say, I'm the one in 21-1.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. Like, look, Brock Lesnar being beaten by Gunther, it's a gimmick, right? It's like, okay, but he has enough skulls. Oba Femi needed one. The biggest one, Brock Lesnar. Like, you look at the skulls that Gunther took. Yeah, they're big names for sure, but it's Brock Lesnar. It's like, even seeing
on paper, Brock would destroy him. On paper, Brock would destroy him.
Absolutely, but I think maybe he looked at it and he was like, "Well, tonight's the night. Why not?" So, and it wasn't like an AJ Styles thing where he put the gloves off and no, he was like, "No, I'm done. I'm walking back in my socks."
I was thinking the same thing. When he was taking his gloves off, I'm like, is he going to pull an AJ and do the old switcheroo?
No.
He's, unlacing his boots. And then when he had everything off, he looked towards, it was, the camera was on the side, but he's looking toward the hard cam at the ring, and he threw up the X, which anybody who knows wrestling knows when the X pops up, it's unscripted and it wasn't part of the show.
No.
So he pretty much acknowledged the fans, was high-fiving people.
Broke character immediately. Yeah, he broke character immediately.
He did. He did. And I'm like, okay, he's not a jerk.
No.
He's a real guy. It opened my eyes a little bit.
I genuinely think he was like, no, I'm going to make Oba Femi tonight. I think that's what happened. I was just like, I might as well. And I was just like, okay. But apparently WWE were very upset by that because he just did what he wanted. But then again, it's Brock Lesnar. Like, it's kind of what happens. Man, wild though. Wild. Because like, when it happened, everybody was going, oh, I suppose it is a good time for Brock Lesnar to leave with everything, blah, blah, blah. And then it came out that no, he just did what he wanted. It's like, okay, well, I mean, fair enough. Because remember, WWE referees are instructed to count as if it's real.
Yep.
So he was probably like, okay, just beat me. So look, if a phenomenal moment to open up night 2, something that people will be talking about for a very long time. And also, it's a developing story because we genuinely still don't know what this means going forward. But we have more questions than answers. And as I said, like, this release thing has really, really been unexpected. So we'll probably talk about more of it next week if it develops. But now, Christopher, you have your WrestleMania hangover show tomorrow. So where can the folks check that out in case anything does break between now and then?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be talking about more of the releases as they progress. But you can find my podcast, the Zodiac Podcast, greatest podcast you've never heard of, on my YouTube page entitled Real Zodiac Productions. We also have my movie review podcast on there, The Real Movie Critics, real reviews by real fans. You can find both those podcasts together on YouTube, but they're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Let's get those likes, subscribe, follows, and hit that bell notification. New episodes for both hit every Monday at noon Central Standard Time in the U.S.
Absolutely. And folks, the thing about it is, we really do appreciate our subscribers here on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Phoenix 92.5 FM, thank you so much. If you're listening to Spotify, thank you so much. But the only way you can actually interact with us in a real way, you go over to YouTube, nerdtoknowmedia.com. And then you can subscribe there and leave comments. Now, some comments that we have one from Junior Ross, N8F. Dustin was way better than Cody. Then we have one for Carlito, Good. I personally think that the only time it was valid was on WrestleMania 40 because they actually had executed in a good way, and they're both in relation to Cody Rhodes' WrestleManias being messed up. Year to year. I actually kind of agree. I think WrestleMania 40 was valid. But again, I would have rather seen The Rock and Roman. I'm not going to lie. The Attitude Era fan of me would love that.
Looking back, hindsight being 2020, yeah, it makes sense now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. It does. And look, we actually got a really good comment from Mick G on our Darby Allin video, and he said that the story is simple. So apparently MJF was too cocky and he always underestimated Darby Allin. So having beaten him twice before, Darby was emotional and more driven than ever. So, he overcame his doubts and used that as fuel to fight and exploit the cocky nature of MJF.
And it's funny because people are thinking that AEW did that just to get more buzz on them than WrestleMania.
They might have.
It worked for a day or two. It worked.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the element. But, I mean, look, if that's the story, hey, if it worked for people, it worked for people. But thank you to everybody who subscribed to us. We had our largest growth this week on the channel, our largest 1 week growth ever. So thank you so much for that. And also thanks to everybody who commented. If they're clean and able to go on the radio, we'll read them out. If they're not, we're not. So please don't swear and we'll be able to read them out. But that's going to do it this week, folks. Thank you so much for checking us out here on the Only Wrestling Podcast by fans who don't hate wrestling. Despite the fact that TKO is making it very difficult. We will be back. We will be back next week to talk more wrestling, more fallout from WrestleMania 42, and hopefully some good news from TNA or AEW. I've been Darraagh. From my co-host, Christopher, we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.